The player begins in the Adonis Luxury Resort, which is a kind of Greek-themed getaway where you go and have plasmid treatments and atom-based rejuvenation therapy. It is now in a state of pretty advanced decay, but it was once the place where the elite would gather. You begin to see little tiny hints of your personal story left there. One of the new things that we're talking about today is that Eleanor, your former little sister, will leave gifts for you, things that sort of help you along your way and pull you towards her, promising this freedom to see the sun. And from the Adonis, the player makes his way to the Atlantic Express train station. This is the central train hub that allows him to travel rapidly across Rapture to find Eleanor Land.
We had several different versions of the opening of the game where we tried to introduce plasmids and guns and hacking, and we have new quick melee and a lot of change in different systems, and finding a balance between packing in as much new stuff as we could early in the game versus overwhelming players. And then at a deeper level, trying to find ways for the actual gameplay systems or sort of combat scenarios that you get into to complement the themes that are going on in the story as well. And we had the advantage of starting from Bioshock 1 and what was there, and that was a game that was a long process of writing as this sort of RPG story-driven shooter hybrid. And I think it allowed us to focus on some of the fundamentals that weren't necessarily as strong in Bioshock 1, of just making the control as smooth as possible, making the shooting as fun and as visceral as possible, bringing more sort of life to the AI and a cover system. They can use cover and throw grenades and things like that. And then there's a giant laundry list of pet peeves that different people have about the game. And some people, hated the hacking system from Bioshock 1. Some people loved it and never wanted to see it go away. And those are a lot more of a holy war within the teams, but after a certain time you come up with plans that you feel complement what you're trying to do with the game itself. And for us, a lot of the core sort of combat and gameplay, we kept coming back to fluidity and immediacy. The underwater segments, this really came from two places originally. One, it was just something that people really wanted out of Bioshock. It was something we heard about the first game a lot, was, wow, this city is really fascinating and amazing, and I kind of want to see it from the outside. I want to see what it's like at the bottom of the ocean. And then with us coming into it as you playing a Big Daddy, we had no excuse not to do it, basically. And so what it gave us is a really strong tool for gameplay pacing, because the underwater sections are sort of mysterious and beautiful and a lot more low-key, and they give us a chance to sort of deliver a different kind of atmosphere, because indoors in Bioshock is just always so tense. There's always something around the next corner. There's always a splicer. There's always some danger. And giving the players some downtime, a place where they actually know they're safe and can kind of soak up the beauty of the world and the wonder of there being this amazing city at the bottom of the ocean, gave us another really strong design tool to have that kind of enforced pacing of player-driven combat, and then a little bit of a downtime before you go on to the next thing.
Big sister doesn't want me anymore.
There was a time where there was a single big sister in the game, and she functioned very much as what we ended up with, which was a sort of boogeyman that guarded the whole atom economy and would come after you. And we needed to have something that could scare the crap out of you as a Big Daddy when you're playing the game, and that's really where a lot of the Big Sister came from. And really, the role playing that you kind of do as a Big Daddy, you can have your own little sister and gather from bodies and just beat the crap out of splicers and keep them away from you. We wanted to turn that on its head and give you an experience more similar to what a Big Daddy must have felt about Jack from Bio 1, that there's this guy out there who just can hunt us down and kill us, even though we're the most terrifying things in Rapture. And the Big Sister really became that. And the idea is that she is Lamb's agent over the whole atom ecology. She's making sure that the atom is still flowing in the world, which is important for other story reasons. It turned out really great, because what you get out of it is, you're running around as a Big Daddy, you've got all this power, you've got all these plasmas, all these weapons, and then all of a sudden, you hear the scream off in the distance, and you know the big sister is coming for you, and she's hunting you down. And there's just a panic that strikes you, and you sort of figure like, okay, where am I going to fight? Where's the best place to go? Should I go in there? Let me find a camera to hack somewhere. And you try to very quickly. It turns the dynamic of the game where you're constantly, on the hunt against the AI. It turns the reverse of it, and you're on the defensive again. And this is a place where the iterative process of story and gameplay going back and forth fed back into Storyland and made the game stronger because of it. Because what we discovered very quickly is if you have a single character that really the player knows they can't kill because they're so important to the story, you're completely removing all of the triumph of overcoming that encounter with them. And so the Big Sister sort of spiderwebbed out into a system of multiple Big Sisters, and they are Lamb's agent, and they are guardians, again, as I've described before, but we actually do allow you to kill them. There is still, that story of the single Big Sister is still maintained in another character who you will learn more about as you play through the game. So it's both of those concepts still exist, but we tweak them a little bit since our early conception of it to fit both the story and the gameplay in a better way.
On the topic of the people who have played Bioshock 1 and feel like they've sort of been there and done that, those guys are the people who keep us up at night. We want to please them, and we have worked very, very hard across multiple studios to make sure that Rapture has fresh mysteries for them, that they're not going to be able to see the surprises of the game coming. And hopefully that the improvements we've made to the game as a shooter, as just a pure system of choices, both kind of mechanically and narratively, will give them that sense of familiarity when they come in, knowing what they know from Bioshock 1, but will deliver something that is able to blow them away. Bioshock 2 is coming out February 9th, 2010.